Hello, it's Father's Day, and my name is Joyce, and you have tuned in to my channel called Notes from Me to You. And today it is for Father's Day. It's Father's Day. Friend, hope your Father's Day holds many smiles and warm memories. Hope it's a day when you feel how much you're loved. Love, Joyce. I have something I want to read to you. It's called A Father's Image. At 4 years old, this is what a child says. My daddy can do anything. At 7 years old, my daddy knows a lot, a whole lot. 8 years old, my dad does not know quite everything. 12 years old, oh, well, naturally, daddy does not know that either. 14 years old, Dad, he is hopelessly old-fashioned. 21 years old. Oh, that man, he is out of date. 25 years old. He knows a little bit about it, but not much. 30 years old. I must find out what Dad thinks about this. 35 years old. Before we decide, we will get Dad's idea first. 50 years old. What would Daddy have thought about that? 60 years old. My dad knew literally everything. 65 years old. I wish I could talk it over with Dad once more. Kind of brings tears to your eyes, doesn't it? Because when your kids are little, they think you can do anything. They think, oh, wow, you're the best dad ever. You know everything. And then as the years go by, knows a little bit. He doesn't know much at all. And then they get older and they say, oh, Dad knew a lot. My daddy knew a lot. And then when they're older, I wish I could talk to Daddy one more time. It really touches your heart, doesn't it? And I have one more thing here I want to talk to you about. It's called, Daddy, Can I Have a Drink of Water? And this one's kind of funny, but it has a meaning. Let me read it to you. Daddy, can I have a drink of water? Let me tell you about children. They are like camels. They can play all day and never think about a drink of water. They can run around out in the hot sun and a drink of water never enters their minds. But at night, as soon as their head hits the pillow, Daddy, can I have a drink of water? One night, my 3-year-old and I went through our regular bedtime routine. I read him a story, listened to his prayers, gave him a good night hug, answered a dozen questions, and finally, after the 4th or 5th good night, I slipped out of the room. Finally, after a long, hard day, I could sit down and relax. It was nice and quiet for all of 5 minutes, and when suddenly, Daddy, can I have a drink of water? I knew he was not thirsty and was just wanting a little bit more attention before going to sleep. So I said, son, get quiet. Get quiet now and go to sleep. He was quiet again, but it did not last any longer than before. Daddy, please, can I have a drink of water? I could see we were not getting anywhere. Son, if I hear one more sound out of that room, I am going to spank you. You could have heard a pin drop. The silence was thick, but suddenly he called out, almost as sternly as I had, "Daddy, when you come in here to spank me, would you bring me a drink of water?" Now I knew he was thirsty. How did I know? Because he was consistent and persistent, and he was willing to get a spanking for a drink of water. That kind of reminds me of when our daughter was little. I did everything for her all day long, and then at night she'd say, "Daddy, can I have a drink of water? Will you get me a drink of water?" That story kind of reminds me of her. I wanted to tell you, I miss my daddy. My daddy and I weren't close as I was growing up. I'll kind of tell you our story if you want to listen, and if you don't, you don't have to. But I pray it'll touch your heart and let you know how God can work things out in your life. My mom and dad were married, and he was a Church of God preacher. They had a little girl named Barbara Ann, and she got hit by a car, and she passed away in the hospital. I wasn't born yet, and I don't know all about it, but I do know that it affected both of them. My daddy, like I said, he was a preacher, and then I came along, and they named me Joyce Ann. Her name was Barbara Ann, and they named me Joyce Ann. And after I was born, they were still very hurt of losing Barbara. And I don't know exactly what happened, but my daddy ended up leaving my mom and me and moving far away and quit the ministry. My mama quit serving the Lord at that time, and I didn't really know my daddy. Once in a while, he'd come to North Carolina where we lived, and he would visit, maybe at Christmas. I didn't see him a lot. I didn't hear from him a lot. And as the years went by, we didn't hear from each other. I mean, he just, like I said, would come down for vacations or something like that, and I'd see him, but I didn't know him. And I can remember, though, my mama always taught me to love and respect my daddy. She'd say, "That's your daddy, and you're going to love and respect him." And so the years went by, and like I said, didn't see much of him, didn't hear from him. And then later on in my life, I moved to Florida, and I met my husband, and we got married. And my daddy started coming to see me more, and I got to know him a little bit better. And then I didn't hear from him for like 10 years. We didn't see each other, hardly talked or anything. And when he did come down one time, I talked to him about the Lord. And he ended up giving his heart back to the Lord and serving the Lord. He remarried a real wonderful lady, and they were great members of their church, and both of them served the Lord. And they came down to visit us here in Florida. They would come and visit and stay like a week. And I got to know my daddy. And then I got closer to him, and we talked on the phone a lot and everything. And I was so thankful that he came back to the Lord. My mom ended up coming back to the Lord after I got saved when I was 15. So they both came back to our Heavenly Father. We have a Heavenly Father that loves us. And they both came back to him, my daddy, and then my mom after I got saved. They came back to the Father. And I'm so thankful for that. But anyway, my husband and I even went out to Arkansas. That's where my daddy lived with his wife. We went to visit them, I think, 2 or 3 times. And I was really thankful that I had a relationship with my daddy. All those years of not having a daddy, really affected me. And I know some of you might not have your dad around, and it does affect you. I mean, at school functions and things like that, Daddy was never there. But I'm telling you all of this to tell you how God worked things out. He brought Daddy and me back together and restored our relationship. If you have a broken relationship with God, your Heavenly Father, that relationship can be restored too. All you have to do is come back home to the Father and get reacquainted with Him and get to know Him better, and you'll have that relationship with Him, just like my relationship with my daddy was restored. And then I got a call from his wife, and my daddy was having heart trouble. And she said, if you want to see your daddy, maybe you should come out here, So I'm a scaredy cat to fly. I do not like to fly at all. I get very anxious and literally sick. And I asked my sister that lives in Tampa, I said, would you be willing to fly to Arkansas with me? I need to go see my daddy. And she said she would. And I don't know what I would have done if she hadn't gone with me, because my husband had dementia even back then. And so we weren't gone very long, but she went with me. And I got to see my daddy and spend some time with him. He was in really bad shape. And I came home on July 15th. And he passed away that next morning on July 16th, the same day that my mother passed away. But she passed away years before him. But isn't that something? They passed away on the same day, almost the same time. I'm so thankful that I got to go see my daddy. I got to tell him I love him, and I got to tell him that I'll see him in heaven. So, I'm sorry, very emotional. But anyway, I'm thankful that God worked it all out. Wouldn't it have been awful if he had passed away and we still had that far away relationship? But God is so good to us. And I just want to wish all of you fathers out there, all you daddies, a happy Father's Day. And if you don't have a daddy, I pray for you. If you're estranged from your dad, I pray for you. I pray for the single dads that have a tough job. And praying for you today. So forgive me for getting emotional. But you know what? I'm going to see my daddy again in heaven. Go see him again. And so thankful for what God did for us. Like I said, it was tough being raised without a daddy. It was hard on my mom too, but God's so good. God is so, so good. He is a good, good father. The best father you'll ever have. And I pray for all you daddies today. And I hope you'll join me again on a note from me to you. If you happen to watch this video by chance, I hope it was a blessing to you. And happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. See the daddy up there with his child? Be a good daddy to your children. Be a good daddy. The best thing you can do is teach them about Jesus and be that example in their life. Give them your time. Give them your attention. And I have to spank them every now and then like that daddy in the story said he was going to do. But yeah, being a daddy and a parent, it's a tough job, but a rewarding job. And it's God's plan. You know, God created male and female and said, replenish the earth. So he wanted moms and dads and children. All right, I've talked long enough. So we'll talk again later, and I love you. I'm praying for you. Bye-bye.